If you've ever traveled between the United States and the United Kingdom, you've probably had this confusing food moment. You order chips, and what you get is not what you expected. In America, chips are those thin, crunchy slices of potatoes you eat straight from a bag. But in the UK, if you order chips, you'll get something more like thick-cut French fries. And just to make things even more confusing, what Americans call fries are often called chips in Britain, while chips in America are crisps in the UK. So what's really going on here? Why are the same foods called by different names depending on where you are? Let's break down the fascinating and slightly confusing history of chips, crisps, and fries. Let's explore, right here, on History of Simple Things. Let's start with the American side of things. In the United States, potato chips refer to those thin, crispy slices of potato that are fried until golden and crunchy, then seasoned with salt or other flavors. According to food historians, the invention of the potato chip is often credited to a chef named George Crum from Saratoga Springs, New York, in the mid-1800s. The story goes that a picky customer kept sending back his fried potatoes, complaining they were too thick and soggy. Out of frustration, Crum sliced the potatoes paper-thin, fried them to a crisp, and served them as a joke. But to his surprise, the customer loved them. And just like that, the Saratoga chip was born, which eventually evolved into what Americans now know as potato chips. As for fries or French fries, the term has a different origin. Despite the name, there's an ongoing debate about whether French fries actually come from France or Belgium. Many food historians argue that the first fries were made in Belgium, where villagers along the Meuse River would fry small fish as a snack. During winter, when the river froze, they turned to thinly sliced potatoes as a substitute, and thus, the idea of frying potato strips was born. When American soldiers encountered these fried potatoes during World War I, they called them French fries, simply because the Belgian soldiers they met spoke French. The name stuck, and now in the U.S., fries refers to those golden, slender strips of potato you get with your burger. Now let's hop across the Atlantic to the United Kingdom, where the terminology takes on an entirely different meaning. In the UK, what Americans call fries are actually chips. British chips are typically thicker and chunkier than the American version, more like what you'd find in a traditional fish and chips meal. The term chips in Britain dates back to the 19th century when the phrase to chip meant to cut something into small pieces. So when potatoes were cut into thick strips and fried, they were literally chipped potatoes. Simple, right? On the other hand, what Americans call potato chips, the British refer to as crisps. The reasoning behind this is straightforward. They're crisp, not soft, and the name perfectly describes their texture. The word crisps started to appear in the early 20th century when these thin fried potato snacks began to be sold in packets. One of the earliest and most famous British brands was Smith's Crisps, which helped popularize the term. So, in a British grocery store, you'll find bags labeled as ready salted crisps, cheese and onion crisps, or salt and vinegar crisps, never chips. Interestingly, other English-speaking countries like Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa tend to follow the British system. There, chips are the hot, thick fries you get at a takeaway shop, and crisps are the cold, crunchy snacks in a bag. But even within these countries, you might hear variations. For example, in Australia, people might say hot chips to specify fries and potato chips for the packaged snack. blending the British and American terms. In Ireland, both words are understood, but context matters. If it's hot, it's chips. If it's cold and in a bag, it's crisps. So the differences between these terms are not really about the food itself. It's the culture and the language behind them. It's a perfect example of how English, even though it's one language, evolves differently around the world depending on regional traditions, food habits, and even historical events. Here's another fun detail. The American fries and the British chips also differ in preparation. British chips are usually chunkier and softer inside, often made from thicker-cut potatoes and double-fried for that perfect texture. Crisp on the outside, fluffy on the inside. American fries, on the other hand, are typically thinner, crisper, and often seasoned differently depending on where you get them. Think McDonald's fries, perfectly uniform, golden, and salty, versus a hearty serving of pub-style chips wrapped in paper beside battered fish. Even the snacks themselves show cultural quirks. In America, potato chips are often flavored with bold seasonings like barbecue, sour cream and onion, or ranch. In the UK, crisps come in flavors that might surprise American taste buds, like prawn cocktail, roast chicken, or even Worcestershire sauce. The difference in naming might be confusing, but the love for fried potatoes is universal. So, to summarize, in the United States, chips are thin and crunchy, and fries are the long, thin golden strips you get with burgers. In the United Kingdom, chips are thick-cut fries served hot, while crisps are the crunchy snacks you buy in a packet. And in other parts of the world, people mix and match these terms depending on their regional influence. The important thing to remember is, no matter what you call them, whether they're chips, crisps, or fries, they're all delicious expressions of one simple truth: the world loves potatoes. So next time you travel abroad and order chips, don't be surprised if you get something unexpected. Just smile, take a bite, and enjoy the linguistic and culinary journey that one humble potato has taken around the world. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.